think I applied to like 100 corporates.
So you were risk friendly.
There could be, you might have a checklist and you can say, okay, tick, 7 done, 3 more to go.
It was like a vulnerability.
That was a vulnerability for me. I believe in transparency and fair play.
Yeah.
Again, that leads to trust.
And there was this other issue that you have to make choices also based on what gives you sustainability.
A part of it is the hunger in me to learn. I had a sore relationship, to be very honest, with my manager.
I remember how happy you were in the very initial time when you finally started going out and playing cricket with your son.
Yes, I believe in getting positivity, right, through people, and I trust people.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Missing Link with Amit. We are on to now season 3, and the topic for today is navigating your career in tough times. And I have a very special guest today with me, Nitin Ghildiyal. Nitin, welcome to the show, and thank you for finding the time to come all the way. I know it's a long distance, and driving in Bangalore is not one of the most enjoyable experiences. So Nitin Ghildiyal has over 20 years of rich experience leading product development and customer support for established organizations like Computer Science Corporation, FICO, Q2E Banking, and currently Nitin is working as a director of customer operations with Health Edge. So welcome again, Nitin.
Thanks, Amit.
There is another relationship that Nitin and I have, and I feel very fortunate to have that. Nitin can speak for himself. Nitin and I also have a relationship as a client and a coach over the last 4 years, maturing gradually into a friendship, Nitin.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Barring when, of course, Nitin chooses to ask for a session. So at that time, we are still client and a coach. So Nitin, as we do probably in our sessions over the last 4 years, but this is not a session for sure.
Right.
But you know, old habits don't die so fast. So I would rather ask you this typical question of mine, your first thoughts on your mind to be here and to be part of this podcast together with me. What are your first thoughts?
First of all, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast. And I've been going through a few podcasts, few sessions, and I really love them. So in a way, I had in mind that maybe you'll call me as well.
Sure. Thank you for that. Yes, I had that in my mind for some time. I was just waiting for probably the right kind of season and team that you fit in the best, I would say. Yeah.
So thank you.
Okay, great. So let me ask you this question. Would you like to share the toughest times that you have gone through navigating your career?
Yes. So in fact, as I've mentioned, and you mentioned as my intro, that I've been in the IT world for close to 2 decades, running nicely, pretty well, and that was a time when I was in FICO. I spent my good 12 years learning the entire product life cycle. And then there was a time when I thought, okay, I'm being complacent. Should I take another turn to my career? And that's where I thought, okay, let me explore opportunities, because maybe, you never know, private jobs, never secured.
Yeah.
So you need to upgrade your skills, you need to find something more. And that's where Q2E lending stuck. And of course, when I met...
This was which year when you left FICO?
Okay, so that was 2018 February.
Okay.
When I left FICO, I joined a young startup. Earlier it was named as Cloud Lending Solutions. Similar domain, what I was working earlier. So I thought it could be the perfect jump for me.
You, yeah.
Right? And of course, one of the aspect was it was really 10 minutes drive from my place.
Wonderful.
So I thought, yes, 2 things in one shot. And that's where I picked this organization. So now, when I started, and a young startup, if not a startup, it was a different scenario. It was a different environment, which I was not used to. Again, FICO was a bit comfortable for me. Comfortable over the period of time. I might have built a reputation for myself.
For sure.
Built friends, even in management.
And the credibility.
And the credibility, of course, right? So when I went to the cloud lending solutions, so again, great people, the founders, uh, the top management, all pretty renowned, coming from great colleges and schools. So I thought I'll learn. And of course, I did learn as well. But then it was more like it's too much of work and too much of a change in environment. That means one thing I could see that even one day is not enough for me to work. The people where you're working, again, these are the so-called, I will not call millennials, but Gen Zs. In fact, a lot of Gen Zs.
Okay.
And they were just getting into the startups. Means
Okay.
it was their first.
So for them, work was equal to life.
Yeah. So they did not know anything. It was just coming there, working 17 hours, 16 hours. And then again, it was really a team that was given to me to lead and build this global delivery center. So I had to run 3 or 4 pods. It was like the work would never stop. It will start early and there is
Never
no,
ends.
and never ending. So you would have exhaustion, but that is okay. When you get the appreciation, when you get to work with energetic people, you don't mind.
Right.
But then something was missing. And I was struggling to understand, right? So maybe I was not used to a startup that, yes, you need to slog with little or no admiration.
And you were and you are a father of 2 kids, lovely kids.
Yes, I am. And in fact, I thought at one point of time when I was joining cloud lending that, okay, maybe I'll be reaching home by 5, I'll spend quality time with my kids, right? But never could I do that.
Yeah.
Maybe the kind of support I was looking at was not there. And maybe I would say it was my assumption. But then I was never part of startup. So
Right.
I never
So
knew
it was
that.
a completely different world, different culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I never knew maybe all startups would run the same way. So maybe there was a problem with me. So, and then, of course, I did not have anyone to really seek help. So I continued, and with the passage of time, I felt frustrated. The anxiety built. And over a period of time, my relationship with management also went sour.
Well,
Probably in 6 months, when I joined cloud lending, that one thing was very clear to me that it was up for sale. So that means,
oh, the company was up for sale.
they wanted.
But you did not know that when you joined.
No.
Yeah.
No. So they wanted to sell, the founders wanted to sell it off, get the returns,
Make money.
and make money.
Yeah.
And so the management, everyone were aligned.
That was the goal that they were working towards.
Again, I believe that.
Yeah.
Right. And for that matter, the profit was not important. If I read that, it was the revenues, so that in the books we can show that yes, the revenues
5
are
years
there.
from now, this company will be
Yeah.
5 times or 10 times
Exactly,
bigger.
exactly. So, and it was good. I think there's no harm. Every other startup would do the same way. But again, that was a learning to me.
Yeah.
And that means my team would slog. I would slog. My team would complain, right? And there were a lot of stuff, but I couldn't do anything.
Right.
And maybe one thing which was missing in me is to be assertive with the managers and asking them why. I missed that part. So it was all in me inside, and
Boiling,
it was hurting me somewhere. So now comes October.
19.
And now 2019 October. And we see E2E banking coming in, and somewhere it clicked. So
They acquired the company.
they acquired the organization. So that was great. Suddenly things changed. So again, good for me as well. Some stakes, they materialized, right? And then began the journey of reorg. And then, of course, a lot of things would change, which probably I was not able to understand initially, but
Or anticipate.
and anticipate, of course. I had a sore relationship, to be very honest, with my manager in some way, and then probably I was made to exit.
And when was that?
That was July 2019.
19.
Yeah. I prepared for that? No. But I was still comfortable and confident in me that maybe with my background and the
So
professional world.
Nitin, you were anticipating that the reorgs post-acquisition by another company will make obviously some changes, will mean
Right.
changes, but you did not anticipate that this will affect you personally and your role.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
So now comes the toughest phase for me.
And on top of that, COVID.
And yes, so COVID started, of course,
Few
it
months
started
later.
a few months later, but then I had an opportunity to work uh, with another enterprise.
Right.
And this time, probably I thought maybe I don't want to work under anyone. That was one of the thought that came. Maybe I want to be my own boss, or maybe where I am not suppressed, or I can do the things I want. So that's where I worked and aligned with one of my friends. And here was a chance for us to build a team and construct a team going by our values. If I have to look at, I was optimistic. We were going in a direction where we thought this is it. We can make a mark, right? So positive, a lot of positiveness.
You were very positive.
Very positive. So after that, I ventured into my entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
So in fact, two.
Oh,
The first one was more around the technology side, where I was more into client engagement, global operations, and setting up kind of a system here.
So this you did it on your own, or you had other stakeholders?
Yeah, so I have one of my friends,
Okay.
and so we ventured into it. But unfortunately, COVID came.
Okay.
So then nothing moved. And when COVID came, then it opened up another opportunity for me to think about, and that was Cloud Kitchen. And there were, again, with partners, and what I needed was a technical team and spend low. So that's where I ventured with one of my friend. And I kind of I trust people easily. And again, if I see indications that yes, they can make it happen, I'll do it. Again, that was just part of my learning.
So you were risk friendly. So that one did not work out. Was it due to financial reasons, or technology reasons, or trust reasons?
So again, not totally about trust, but it was the way we invested on freelancers.
Okay. So it was a cost issue also.
It was a cost issue, and not knowing that freelancers can work for you or against you.
Okay.
So in this case,
So it's a learning curve.
it was a learning curve.
Yeah.
So again, my learning was never go with freelancers until unless your startup is in a very stable position.
Okay.
And you just need contractors 1 and 2. Otherwise, go with a fixed.
Yeah, as you said, you subcontract always simple tasks, not
Right.
complex tasks.
Yes. So that was true. And now, at that juncture, around September 2020, where I saw that I'll not be able to progress with my cloud kitchen initiative, because what I had thought, people had already brought it in the market.
I think that was when you came in touch, we came in touch, right? Was it
Yeah,
September,
so
October, I can't remember
no.
exactly.
So now I thought I'll go back into the corporate world,
Right,
because
right.
nothing much in my pocket. Not really. You can't expect too much from your family, and especially my wife was taking care. So it was a hard time and struggle,
Very hard time.
where I was at one point of time planning my financials from now to 5 years, and with the kids going into school. So that was a challenging time. So then I thought maybe.
And you were also taking care, I think, of your parents.
Yes. My parents stay with me again, and they've been quite a support to me.
Right.
And in fact, one thing which I did not mention initially was when I moved out of E2, I did not tell them.
Okay.
So for them, usually I'm going to office, but I'm going somewhere.
I recall you sharing that. And that actually added to your anxiety levels.
That added to my anxiety, right? So
And stress.
that was a stress. So now I started applying, and I think I applied to like 100 corporates,
Wow.
and I was not receiving calls. Maybe I was applying to I was a VP initially, I would say, and a senior director. And then when I was seeking job, I was seeking job at least at a director level as well.
Right.
And people were not able to accept that, maybe acknowledge, accept that why this person is coming at a less profile. So I remember I had one interview, and I went through 2 rounds. The third round, again.
Where is this interview you're talking about?
So this was in Bangalore. I think it was Sprinkler, one of the organizations, great organization. And when I went to the third round, they were not able to kind of digest that I would work under a junior person.
Okay.
Maybe much junior what I was earlier. But I was honest, and the other factor was maybe he's a startup guy. Once the situation, the market situation improves.
But for you, it was that you needed to get back to
And
a
for me,
regular job.
Absolutely. For me, it
You
was
were-
more like
you were in financially very tight situation.
right, and I couldn't tell them much. I didn't want to open that part of my personal aspects.
Okay.
I told
So that was like a vulnerability.
that was a vulnerability for me, right? And I said, I did startup, it didn't work. I need to take a call now rather than investing more time. And that's where, right? So I failed. Then it was like, I would say 15 months without an active source of income. And I was tense, anxiety built in. I had health issues, really bad health issues. And fortunately, I met a friend, means one of my childhood friend. He came to my place and he works in HCL. And he said, okay, let me arrange an interview for you. And I guess that's the time where,
No, I think we connected before that.
yeah. So in fact, that was the time when he connected with me.
Okay.
And at the same time,
Okay.
there was another interesting opportunity in Sartorius.
That's the company I used to work for.
Yeah. So that's where, so now I could learn from LinkedIn who are the people, the top-notch people that you should connect and get leverage. At least they can arrange for interviews. And again, it's maybe funny now, but then at that time, I looked for
You were trying whatever works.
and I was just trying.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. And then I saw in LinkedIn, okay, who all work for Sartorius. And I saw one name, Amit Chatterjee. And again, he happened to be the MD. So I said, let me try my luck. And then an honest message in the LinkedIn to connect and saying, okay,
But I was no longer the MD in 2020. I had already hung up my boots.
yes.
I think you missed that part.
No, I knew that.
Okay.
But I thought maybe still links would work.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So now what happened was very interesting. And again, if the viewers who are listening is, I got a response from Amit, and Amit was honest that if I have hung my boot, I'm not going to really get into referential mode. I'm not going to refer you. But then what I can do is to help you get out of this bad situation. And maybe I can work in getting your confidence back. Because I had mentioned, I was honest with Amit that nothing is working for me, tried 100 places.
I think that part of the conversation probably happened after a few messages over the LinkedIn or whatever.
Yes, yes.
And I think, I don't remember who took the lead. I still feel you took the lead and we had a video call.
Yes.
And that is when this conversation probably
Right,
must
right.
have
So, yeah, a few conversations where you proposed to me that, okay, let's get into a consulting mode for you, help you, get you insights. And that's what we call always, right? When we meet, these are insights. And I actually was not really looking at a coaching engagement
happened. Right.
initially.
You were looking for a referral.
I was looking for a referral.
Yeah.
But then this came as an opportunity for me to really reevaluate myself because I was so low in confidence that I wanted to really have a check that am I worth? Have I lost confidence? It's just a matter of time or really I have some issues and gaps. And that's where we connected. And when Amit threw this option to me that, okay, would you like to get my help? And I grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah, I mean, see, interesting part is this that anybody and everybody goes through this, troughs in life. I can also probably recall some moments of my life when I was not feeling very, very confident and robust. But these are different contexts, right? And then there's the aspect of, who am I? Nitin is Nitin, Amit is Amit, and so are our different viewers. But I do recall that, yes, you were in as you described, and for the viewers, I must put it on a somber note that when we had the first video call, and these were just new Zoom days those days.
Right.
So we didn't have to travel during COVID anywhere. We met over Zoom. And as a person, I was definitely quite touched by how much this gentleman whom I was talking to had gone through already, like you said, in the 15 months. It showed on you. You had lost weight.
Yes.
You had just 2 young children, and your wife was still working, and it was tough. Without getting into any more details, but where I would like you to share with our viewers is that, yeah, were you sure about the benefits that you may get out of a coaching engagement?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Again, I believe in getting positivity, right, through people, and I trust people.
Right.
Right. Now that I've kind of built some criteria about evaluating people a little bit, but then
No, Nitin, I'm asking you at that time.
Yeah, so
I don't remember exactly, was it end of 2020 or beginning 21?
So that
whatever?
was December 2020, if I recall.
So were you at that time, were you sure about the benefits? Today you may say,
Yeah.
5 years back, or 4 years back approximately, 4.5 years, were you sure about the benefits?
No,
No, you were not.
I was not.
So it was your inclination to not only trust, I think also inclination, I think having now known you now for a longer time, it's not just trust. I think it was also that you simply have a hunger for learning.
Absolutely.
You have that, not such a curiosity, you have this hunger, I would say. I mean, what you do not know, you are willing to get into that and check it out and learn whatever you can from your side. I think that's what was there.
Yeah, I think one other aspect was what was missing in me and where am I lacking?
Yeah.
And a senior person like Amit, who has been an MD again, and if I meet people, I would meet people at his level as well while interviewing. So maybe I might need some correction. So that was another thing that led me to this coaching engagement as well.
Yeah, I mean, you already kind of answered my next question, what to describe your state of mind at that time. But yeah, maybe I would rather ask this question about your state of mind over the first few sessions. What was the state of mind? Is it possible for you to kind of recall that and share it with the viewers? Because see, people who go into a coaching engagement, it is not a very simple logical journey, because it depends on the two individuals, both the coach and the person who has gone for a coaching. So what is your experience, first few sessions particularly?
Yeah. So I would say when we started the first session itself, it was more about, and I clearly remember, is you have to look for survival, right? So sustainability. And when you spoke about sustainability, then I kind of looked at what are my obligations as a son, as a husband, as a parent,
And as an individual.
and as an individual. So if I am chasing something which is too big for now, then I need to be practical. First, pick a job. So the first thing that was guided to me was pick a job. Doesn't matter. If you have the skills.
I think it's important maybe for the viewers that before that conclusion, it was that all those other things that you said, you are a son, you are a husband, you are a father, and you are also Nitin. I think we discussed about converting these into an Excel sheet,
Right.
which basically what is a financial planning,
Absolutely.
right? Including your assets and your liabilities, your desires, dreams for your children, for yourselves, your commitment to your parents. You wanted to build a home for them.
Right.
Also, I remember, and by now you have done all that. Probably you've done more than what it was there. I recall
Right.
that. But that's why I wanted that everybody goes through an iterative process, right? Whether it's learning, whether it is getting the self-confidence, as you said, back, etc. But how many sessions it took approximately to get your mojo back?
I think the first 3 sessions were good enough for me, and I picked a job.
Yes, that's what I wanted to bring out because, and viewers, I mean, Nitin is probably one of the very special. I still would like to refer as clients of mine or coaches. I don't like the word coaches so much, although it's also pertinent. Who actually probably one of the first, one of the earliest to get their mojos back in just 3 sessions. Normally, people take probably 4, 5, 6 sessions, and you have heard from him, what kind of a trough he went into due to so many factors, acquisition, and then trying out his own entrepreneurial journey, trusting people, okay, and then of course, like everybody was hit around the globe by COVID, for example. So and while he still was running his life, had to run his life like as a son, as a father, as a husband, and also being himself. So I will, after all these years now, it's been quite some time. You still ask for a session now and then, out of the blue, and what makes you do that? Because we don't, a coachee and a coach and a coachee or a coach and a client relationship, there's no contract here, right? I mean, other than, of course, there's a session fee. But, so you don't have any obligation, I don't have any obligation that we have to do this, right? It is always just an understanding, yes, right. When you need. So initially, of course, 3, 4 sessions, 6 sessions maybe, right. Is done at a regular interval, more or less. I think we should do it at 20 days intervals, approximately.
Yes.
But over the last couple of years, we have done quite a few sessions.
Right.
Or I can say I have done, but it was always on your invite. Right. You always said, Amit, are you free? And, right. Can we do a session on so and so? And we plan it, with time. It's not that it has to, there's a crisis. I've never seen you coming for a session because you are in a crisis, right. For example. So what makes you ask for these sessions?
Yeah, and
we recently did one after almost 5 or 6 months gap.
Yes, right? And we are supposed to do one more, by the way.
Yes. I had almost forgotten because I was so busy planning our podcast.
Yeah. So again, a part of it is the hunger in me to learn. The management aspects means it's easy to say that you've got your job and now you're working fine, but then you can hit crisis at any time. You need to be prepared. And maybe one of the things which, if I recall, when I was in FICO or Q2 e-lending, one thing which was missing in me while taking decisions, I did not have insights. So now, fortunately, I have those insights from it. And maybe it's not that I need insights for each and everything. I would build my questionnaires over a period of time and then will reach out to Amit and saying I need help. These are some areas which are troubling me.
So when you ask for help, and thank you for using that word, because some people feel probably that to seek help makes them smaller. Do you ever feel small? I've never seen that. Even from the day one when you were really in a very bad state.
Right.
But you never had a self-esteem problem.
Never.
You had a self-confidence problem for sure. It was
Right.
very different from self-esteem.
Right.
Okay, I never saw that you lacked in who you are.
Right.
Right. You were more about, okay, how do I come out of it? How do I fulfill still my daitvas, kartavyas,
Right.
and also have a good life? Okay, so so why when you come even now, as I said, you said curiosity and also that you insights. You still have the same insights book that we started.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I do with all my clients, that you have to have a
and-
white page insights book.
Yeah, and when I was coming,
What is this
I-
insights book about? Can you share it with the viewers?
So insights is again, first of all, Amit says these are insights. These are not being forced into you. That what I say, do the same way. It's more about insights that gives you the knowledge and wisdom to take decisions on your own.
And these are insights that you actually yourself conclude.
Yes.
Obviously, I do my nudging, pushing, and leading
Absolutely.
questions and all that, but it is your own conclusions.
Yeah, the conclusions, right? We take our own solutions to the problems with some additional insights. So these are insights that make your decision capabilities refined.
Right.
And in fact, when I was coming today, I flipped the notes again and I saw maybe, is there anything which is worth mentioning?
Okay.
What I gained, right? So, and if I have to recall, one of course is sustainability, which is the key aspect. The second, what we spoke about, you have to be good, you have to be smart, but you cannot be innocent.
Yes.
And somewhere I get swayed by innocence somewhere. And that's where I come back, I flip my notes, and then I again come back to you. Right? The vulnerability, don't expose your vulnerability. And that was a recent one where I came to you.
No, I think it was the recent one was not about vulnerability. It was, if I recall right, it was about being too open.
Yes.
Too open, which is a little bit different because
Right.
you took over a new team which is based out of another city, for example, and because you are basically a very transparent, self-confident person, in my words, you were going or you had gone and you were touching across the lines with your frankness and your transparency.
Yes.
And then what we discussed is that your transparency is good after you have a relationship which is based out of the roles that you play. So,
Yeah, so I think there were two things. One is how you manage the management above you, and then how do you roll your management to your team.
yes.
So with the team, I've always been like, I believe in transparency and fair play.
Yeah.
Again, that leads to trust. Once the trust is built, so then you don't have to worry about those individuals. You may have to make them accountable. They need to understand what needs to be delivered, and you don't have to really do micromanagement.
Right.
And I don't really believe in micromanagement. My leadership style is very simple. Be transparent, walk the talk, so that they do not hear anything else, right, from someone. Okay.
But there was one aspect I recall, which is that, see, like any organization, even the team overall that you're responsible for, there is a layer in between you and the rest of the team, right? You have 2 or 3 managers
Yes.
who then manage another 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever it is.
Right.
And I think we discussed about the transparency should be limited to where you have your first line
Right.
of reporting. You can be transparent, but through them,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes. Yes. I think the directs you
And the
can.
risk, I think that's why you have the word vulnerability probably on your mind, because you probably read that you might have written in your insight, because this is my vulnerability, that I get into very transparent relationship with even people who are 2 levels,
Right.
below in the organization. You don't, I know you don't think anybody is small or anybody is big, but the point is that in an organization structure, that's why it's called organization.
Right.
So there are roles that people play, and too much of transparency can happen, can also sometimes be even exploited by people. One,
Yes, that is
and
true.
two is this, that if you have too much of transparency, then sometimes you may lose sight of what are your immediate, kind of results that you have to create. You may also not be able to be very assertive when sometimes you need to be assertive.
Right.
So maintaining the distance is what I think we talked about.
Yes.
It must be there on your last page of the
Yes,
insights book.
yes. So again, I recall, you mentioned leaders do not have friends around.
Yeah, can't afford the luxury.
Can't afford the luxury to have friends around
Yes.
because they have to make tough decisions as well.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of great things out of the coaching sessions.
And it's contextual for sure. It's contextual for sure. So let me shift gears a little bit, Nitin, and coming to the present. So now, after all these years, you have, of course, very successfully navigated your career. Is that how you would say?
Yes.
4 years, 5 years now?
Yes.
Yeah?
I would say, so I've spent close to, I'll be completing 4 years in Health Edge now.
Yeah.
And I started with a small portfolio, a window of opportunity
No,
that
but
came.
I would like you to now shortly just touch upon that when we came in touch, and you were talking about the HCL. I think you joined
Yes.
HCL, and then you left HCL also.
Yes.
But at least what I can recall is there was a very big shift between mental state that you were in when finally you joined HCL, because you joined at a lesser
Right.
CTC.
Right.
But then, while working, and also we had very regular sessions in those days, right?
Right.
And then very fast, very soon, you came out of it and you landed your current job, for example.
Right. So, in fact, I was interviewed with Health Edge even before HCL.
Right.
And then, opportunity I received through a friend of mine in HCL.
yeah.
And I was in a dilemma. Now, if I get an offer, and again, both were referrals. So one of the things which was key to me is I would join an organization where I know people. Then I can at least have a fair trust in management.
Because you had probably suffered a bit
And I
of trust in
suffered,
people.
because it was totally a new team, new management. I was not aware. So that was one point I had made a decision. I would go and
And there was this other issue that you had to make choices also based on what gives you sustainability.
yes. So in fact, Health has delayed,
Yes.
and that's where I landed up with HCL.
Yes.
And to me, it was more like joining a services organization after, say, close to 18 years. So I had not worked in the recent times, total different environment.
You were more in a product
And
organization.
yes, so HCL, I would say I was fortunate to work, and I'm thankful also because after 15
It
months.
also gave you the sustainability platform
Absolutely.
to pitchfork yourself into the next level.
Right. So that gave me a bit of confidence, at least, which was missing. Then I started working. And in fact, what was really good about the engagement is I picked a portfolio and I delivered, and I was asked to do more.
Yeah.
But then it was kind of monotonous doing the same thing again and again, which I was not loving. So I had to take a call whether to stay for a while or move out.
Yeah.
And there was another opportunity for me to fly out in US because they wanted me to move out and just run the sales operation or kind of part of deliveries through the US, managing a team. So very
Then you
tough
had the other
decision.
side of your life, which is to also lead your family.
Yes, and of course, my parents with me getting older and all those
you made your
obligations.
choices.
So yeah, there was, and I had to make my choice.
Yeah.
So of course, Health Edge came, and whatever it suited me. Basically suited me because I wanted
From the
to,
culture point of view
from the
also.
cultural point of view, from the work-wise, it's a product organization, and the people around, of course, similar in nature. So it was a tough call. I would say it was a tough for me to put my papers.
Because you had a friend who had referred you.
Yeah, and very close friend, very close friend, and but he was supportive.
Yes.
He
I
was
remember
supportive.
You told me this.
and and again, with all the discussions that happened with management, finally it was dusted. So it was 90 days notice period.
Notice period.
So that was a challenge. Again, for Health Edge, they wanted to really ascertain that, okay, am I joining or not?
So, Nitin, I would like you to kind of get into this period. I mean, when you joined, now you've done almost 4 years of plus with Health Edge, and you are in a very happy scenario relatively. But the initial 1.5 years, if I recall rightly, you were happy maybe, but you were not really able to do a lot of things that you were expecting that you will have to do as a professional. So you went through some challenging time, I think, that first 1.5. Can you
Right.
share what challenges we were going through?
Sure. Actually, there were two key areas. One within, that
Yeah.
means holding a high profile earlier, and then coming and joining an organization with, of course, at a decent level, but not where you were. So that was always inside me. And how can I get into, right, how can I move to the next level,
Right.
and how early? So that was one challenge that I always had, and how do I counter it?
Yeah.
And second is, of course, you need to have work to prove yourself and go to the next level. So when I started my journey in Health Edge, and again, Health Edge is around the health domain, where all the clients are from the US market. And if you are establishing a customer operations team, then you need to have some constraints, right? To
Security issues.
security issue,
So technically
personal
things have to
health.
fall in place.
Yeah, so health sensitive information and all. So the team was small that was given to me, but at the time when I was joining, it was
It was
said it will
supposed to be
expand.
bigger.
It will
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah.
And it will expand rapidly. And I was excited, but then because of these challenges, the PHI, very few clients were converting and were approving.
That was the business side.
The business side,
Essentially.
yeah. So of course the
So
pace.
how did you on the leadership side, as a leader, how did you navigate yourself?
Yeah, so I went into asking for other opportunities as well, right? So I will have this portfolio. So what can I do? And I recall my manager, he was running testing operations, and I said, we can build center of excellence here.
So you asked for more.
So I asked for more, and I suggested this is a way we
Right.
can do.
Right.
And again, it was well appreciated.
Yes.
So, and that's where when you and me were connecting, I told you and briefed you that this is something which is well taken.
Yes.
So things were going fine, but the
Not
thing
at
was
not at the speed and
not at the
quantum
pace
that you wanted
right.
it to be.
Right.
You could have satisfied. It took 1.5 years for you to again, be in a situation where you are able to build. So you are a builder. You like to build.
I
You
like
like to build people. You like to build teams. And when you do not get it, yet otherwise, what kept you there was probably your choice, your realization earlier than that you have to be in a sustainable
yes,
scenario.
right.
And of course, which is about the financial planning, about your responsibilities, about your daitvas and kartavyas. And I want to then come, Nitin, to that. After that, of course, in the last 2.5 years, you have been, taking on more responsibilities. And I know from our last interactions that you are in a much more happier state of life. You also have a beautiful farmhouse now, for example. I love to see the photo that you shared. So I would like to kind of come to the close for our session with one question, which is that, at least for the viewers, I think they have also heard you speaking for the last 50 plus minutes. I think the qualities that made you navigate till now, and this journey, going through a trough and coming out of it, even when the reasons for the trough were also a lot of extraneous factors, including the COVID, for example, or acquisitions before that. And what I see is that, yes, you have this hunger for knowledge. Okay, you have the curiosity for sure. And I think you kind of learned to respect the need for sustainability,
Right.
being a family man, having responsibilities, etc. And finally, you also have the great part of your nature, which is to be transparent and honest. Okay, uh, and thereafter, I see also that you have this big power of tenacity, because without tenacity, but tenacity, to my understanding, and correct me, is related also to the question why. So, what gives you all these qualities? Where do you get these qualities from? Can you respond to that?
Yeah. So great question. In fact, I would say my hunger to learning is always there. So that keeps me holding.
So where did you get this from?
I was a sportsman, first of all. If I have to relate that way,
Okay.
that again, I picked many sports, different, and a few could be because of maybe attracted to those sports, and a few because I had a broken bone, so I moved, and I could easily pick things. So whatever I picked, I really picked at a competitive
So
level.
you enjoyed
So
doing
I
something
enjoy
new.
challenges. I enjoy new things.
New things.
Yeah, one is challenges.
That is where your hunger for
And
learning comes
yeah,
from.
hunger for learning.
Okay.
Yeah. I absolutely love picking new things. And probably as we speak, I was trying to pick something on AI and doing something.
Yeah,
So
I know that. Yes.
so that's my one of the means one strong areas that I can sit, I can still learn, and I tell my team as well. Means you are relatively new, but even I don't also shy away from learning things, right? And I learn from you guys as well. Doesn't matter at all.
And where do you get this power of tenacity from?
So of course,
Because you were always tenacious.
so a part of it comes from the team you work with, the team you build from scratch,
No, but
and the other one is
Since when I know you, when you were probably at the nadir of your
Right.
last 5-6 years, you were still tenacious.
right.
So it has nothing to do with your team. We had no team at that time, no job, etc. But you were still tenacious.
Right. So of course,
Where does that? You to dig deeper into yourself and find out where is the tenacity coming from.
one is of course the family, the kids.
Right, okay.
Your family gives you that energy when you meet your kids. So you leave your professional world aside. They don't know, right? And when you engage with them, one is of course your responsibilities are always there in your head. Your engagement with the kids always gives you the energy.
Yes, I remember how happy you were in the very initial part time when you finally started going out and playing cricket with your son.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's where I want to dip a little bit.
Right. In fact,
So your family overall, as you say.
absolutely. My family, and I would say I don't have a huge friend circle. So I have a limited circle, and that too sports. I enjoy sports. So that's
But
my
you're
energy.
good friends.
Yes. So I have just about friends who I can cherish. But as I said, sports gives me a lot of energy. If I have to, I'm in my low, feeling low, and I go out and play, I come back positive.
With energy.
Right.
Positive
So yeah, I come back with positive
But
energy.
I was talking about the term tenacity. Because for our viewers, and I think the times today, the Gen Zs or the millennials who form a very major part of our workforce anywhere, right? They are even more changing times, faster changing times than probably even 5 years back. Forget, I'm a mirage for them, right? So, and this tenacity, if I rephrase this, what you finally came to, that it comes from when you spend time with your kids. Yes, it comes from when you go and do sports, and also it comes from your spending time with your family, not only the kids but your wife, your parents, for example, and you also mentioned about the responsibilities.
Right.
Now, if you're a 25-year-old Gen Z or 27-year-old, and obviously you don't have too many responsibilities. I was 25, 27. Until I married, my parents never said, you have to do this, you have to do that. I was quite a free bird, you know. So, but when you have those family responsibilities, would you say that that brings in the power of tenacity also?
Yes, definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
But then again, living your dreams, thinking about, and
Sure.
so I
And
guess
that's where the other side comes.
other side comes,
The
right?
hunger
So
for
the hunger
knowledge, for new things.
for new things and to be successful somewhere.
Yes.
Means there could be, you might have a checklist and you can say, okay, tick, 7 done, 3 more to go.
So let me ask you the final question, because we did an episode on this topic. Do you have a pinch of narcissism in yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can say, yes, I feel proud the way things have happened for me, the way I have taken my decisions over a period of time. And again, I earned it.
Thank you very much, Nitin.
Thank you,
Wish you a
Amit.
fantastic, happy life going forward. And thank you, viewers, for listening on to our podcast. This is the journey. This is a fantastic journey for both Nitin and I, in a way, because I've been somewhere on the sidelines watching him, and sometimes worrying, and mostly, of course, even applauding from the sidelines. And I've seen him how he has done, and the qualities that at the end you saw that Nitin has. I think this is possible for many people, and most of you probably have this. But we wanted to bring in the touch points as to how these qualities not only are useful for you to have a sustainable life. Okay, whether you are a startup founder, or you are a manager or a leader, or yet to become a manager, of course you are still always a leader. And this comes also from things which is, I would call it, in a kind of circle of trust that you have around yourself, including friends. You always
Right.
talk about few valuable friends, and then the family. And this is very important when we talk about leadership, because somebody who does not have a circle of trust to go back to, you can feel very lonely. Okay, and it's not just about being alone. So think about this, and thank you very much again. Please leave your comments and your questions if you have any. If you do not agree with some of our statements or findings, and we will love to come back to you on that. And signing off from the Missing Link with Amit. Thank you.
Thank you.